The Alpha Pro Power Series is the cleanest evolution yet from 11SIX24 Pickleball. 3 new shapes built on a shared foundation to deliver power without sacrificing control. This lineup builds on the original power models, but refines what needed fixing. A slightly harsh feel, limited dwell, and a surface response that could feel disconnected on contact. These new builds still start firm, but once broken in, you get more dwell, cleaner feedback, and a more subtle feel without giving up the punch that defined the original Power Series in the first place. The 3 shapes, Hurache X, Vapor, and Pegasus, each push the FCC layup in a different direction. The Hurache loads up for deep court pressure, the Vapor blends margin and shapeability, and the Pegasus brings quick hands, forgiveness, and flick speed. The construction is consistent, but the differences in handling and responsiveness aren't subtle. They define how each paddle fits your game, and these frames are fast. Just for transparency, 11SIX24 did send these out for testing, but they've had no input on this review. No money exchanged hands, and nothing was promised in return. But if you do end up picking one up, you can use code MPB to save at checkout. At the core of the Alpha Pro Power Series is a 16mm black polypropylene honeycomb core. While still less common than traditional white polypropylene, black polypropylene is gaining popularity for its added elasticity and unique rebound properties. The elasticity translates to a slightly softer, more reactive feel once the paddle breaks in, giving these paddles more dwell and a livelier bounce at contact. It's not just cosmetic, it shapes how the paddle opens up over time. Each model uses an FCC construction, a fiberglass first composite that starts with fiberglass laid directly on top of the core, followed by 2 layers of carbon fiber. That structure stiffens the response just enough to support power and directional control while preserving the underlying dwell of the core. Add in edge-injected perimeter foam and you get better torsional stability, improved forgiveness, and a more even, powerful response across the face. The result is a contact feel that's crisp but not harsh. You still get structure behind your shots, but without the ultra-rigid pop or spring some paddles lean into. There's just enough dwell to help shape the ball and enough stiffness to support clean direction and counters. It feels intentional, not loose, not overly reactive, and really fun to play. This isn't just a surface tweak, it's a dialed-in formula that gives each shape in the lineup a clean, unified feel. There's enough firmness to stay aggressive and shape the ball, but without the harshness or disconnect you sometimes get in stiffer builds. These paddles feel stable, reactive, and tuned, whether you're driving, countering, or resetting under pressure. While the FCC layup and 16mm black polypropylene core remain constant across the Alpha Pro Power Series, each shape handles differently in real play due to changes in swing weight, balance, and face geometry. The Hurache X is the elongated model with the heaviest feel in hand. It has a swing weight of 113.6, twist weight of 6.35, and static weight of 8.01 ounces. Honestly, those numbers are great. The balance point sits just over 24 centimeters, putting more mass behind the ball for maximum depth and baseline drive. This is the paddle in the lineup that gives you the most plow-through and leverage, but you'll trade off some maneuverability and tight exchanges. The Vapor lands in the hybrid category. It shares the same swing weight as the Hurache at 113.6, but increases the twist weight to 6.8, giving it noticeably better stability on off-center hits. Static weight nudges slightly under to 8.1 ounces, with a nearly identical balance point. These small shifts make it feel more forgiving and smoother through contact, especially when transitioning between speeds or adjusting to pressure. The Pegasus is the speed-focused option. Its swing weight drops to 105.6, substantially lower than the other 2, while twist weight jumps to 7.2, the highest of the group. With a static weight of 8 ounces and a slightly more central balance point around 23.7 centimeters, it feels fast, stable, and responsive. This is the easiest shape to maneuver, reset, and redirect. It's also the most customizable, light enough out of the box to handle added tungsten without overloading your hands. What ties all 3 together is how playable they are stock. You don't need to mod them to make them work. But if you want to fine-tune the feel or boost output further, especially on the Pegasus, there's enough headroom to do it. Across all 3 shapes, the Alpha Pro Power Series plays like a proper Gen 3 evolution. Structured, stable, and powerful, but with a more forgiving feel and controlled response than the original power line. The FCC layup brings real cohesion to the face, and once the paddles break in, that initial stiffness gives way to better dwell and a more responsive connection through contact. That break and curve matters. Out of the wrapper, these paddles feel firm and a little tight, but after a few hours of play, you'll notice the core and surface layers and just the paddle in general start to soften up. Contact gets cleaner, dwell improves, and the surface feel softens just enough to help with resets and countering without muting drive power. It's a short ramp, but a real one. The Hurache X is the standout for raw firepower. It recorded the highest serve speed in the series at 58 miles per hour, or in the 98th percentile, and a firepower score of 76, backed by strong spin at 2,282 RPM, 80th percentile. Punch volleys clocked in at 36.4 miles per hour, 44th percentile, reflecting the trade-off for its lower twist weight. On court, this one delivers the most baseline punch and drive. The sweet spot feels tighter compared to the other shapes, and you'll notice more feedback on mishits, but when you do connect clean, the output is obvious. The payoff comes when you commit to your shots, drive with confidence, and this one gives you the full return. The Vapor sits right behind it in output, but plays more forgiving and consistent across a wider range of shots. Serve speed landed at 57.2 miles per hour, 92nd percentile, punch speed at 36.7 miles per hour, 50th percentile, and spin just around 2,218 RPM. With a firepower score of 74 and a higher twist weight, it adds stability on contact and shapes the ball better in slow speed exchanges. The wider face and smooth handling make it feel easier to control in transition without giving up the ability to drive. It's the shape that adapts most naturally mid-rally and offers more margin when the pace dips. The Pegasus is still the fastest in hand and the most forgiving under pressure. Serve speed came in at 57.6 miles per hour, or in the 96th percentile. Punch speed topped the chart at 37.2 miles per hour, or 68th percentile, and spin was the highest at 2,308 RPM, or in the 92nd percentile. Despite its lighter swing weight, it still earned a firepower score of 72, showing that you're not giving up meaningful output, just getting it in a faster, more reactive frame. It resets cleanly, flicks easily, and recovers quickly in hands battles. Of the three, it's the most instinctive to play, assuming you don't miss the extra reach, and the easiest to mod if you want to add more punch without compromising speed. The three shapes in the Alpha Pro Power Series aren't cosmetic variations. They each translate the FCC layup into a distinct playing profile. They share the same core structure, yes, but differences in balance, swing weight, and face geometry show up immediately in real match play. The Hurache X is the most drive-oriented. It has the longest handle, narrowest face, and highest swing profile, which gives it the most leverage from the baseline. Serves and ground strokes come off with depth and weight when your timing is on. It feels like you're getting everything out of the core, but it also asks more of your precision. Miss off center and you'll notice a steeper drop in stability. Compared to something like the YOLO Perseus Pro 4, the Hurache X offers a more unified feel across the face and plays quicker in hand, with just enough softness post break-in to take the edge off its stiffness. The Vapor is the all-around performer. It still packs a punch, but feels more stable and consistent across different shot types. The hybrid shape and higher twist weight make it more forgiving through transition, and it's especially effective for players who move fluidly between tempo shifts, resetting one ball, shaping the next, and accelerating through the third. It doesn't feel like a control paddle, but it lets you play with control when the point demands it. You trade a bit of top-end drive for smoother resets and a wider sweet spot. The Pegasus is built for hand speed, redirection, and quick recovery under pressure. It's the lightest swinging paddle in the lineup, but still generates real spin and punch, especially on flicks and blocks. What separates it is the combination of fast handling and high twist weight. In fast exchanges, it gets to the ball early and resets torque on off-center contact, keeping the paddle face steady and shots on target. I found myself converting more kitchen counters than usual, not just surviving but flipping the point, because it doesn't wobble or deflect when stretched. For players who rely on reflexes and instinctive contact, this one gives you the most margin and the fastest path back to neutral. So, which one makes sense for your game? If you build pressure early in rallies, using deep drives, strong serves, and baseline pace to force weak replies, the Hurache X gives you the most runway to stay aggressive and set up attack opportunities. If you mix pace with placement, vary tempo mid-rally, and look for a paddle that can transition cleanly from offense to reset, the Vapor offers the most flexibility. And if your strength is at the kitchen, quick hands, fast exchanges, and countering under pressure, the Pegasus gives you the best combination of speed, forgiveness, and face stability. Each shape brings power, but the way it shows up in your game is what sets them apart. The Alpha Pro Power Series launches at $199 across all three shapes, placing it firmly in the high-performance tier, but at a price well below the $250 to $300 range that we're seeing from other similar Gen 3 builds. With a fiberglass on-core layup, dual carbon layers, and full foam-injected perimeter, it delivers strong value for the materials and performance these paddles offer. Just as important, 11SIX24 has earned a reputation for structural reliability. Every polypropylene honeycomb paddle is eventually prone to core crushing, sure, but return rates from 11SIX24 remain among the lowest in the category. That matters if you play often and expect your gear to last. My own Perseus Pro 4 gave out, and I haven't wanted to put the Hurache X Alpha Pro Power down since. Use code MPB at checkout to knock the price down further. These paddles play fast, feel cohesive at contact, and hold up well under pressure. If the original power models felt too stiff or reactive, this update resolves it. I haven't needed to mod any of these paddles, they've just felt dialed in right out of the box. The Alpha Pro Power Series is the most refined release yet from 11SIX24. It keeps the core DNA of the original line but adds dwell, feedback, and control without losing the drive potential that defined it. Whether you pressure from the baseline, attack with quick hands, or want something stable and versatile under fire, there's a shape here that fits. And again, if you're picking one up, use code MPB at checkout to save. And if you've got questions about fit or comparisons, drop them in the comments and I'll do my best to help. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more breakdowns and paddle updates just like this, and I'll see you in the next one.